Welcome back, descendants. Hope all is well. Clay, Abigail, Samuel, and Bo are stepping into a place none of them were prepared for, and tonight we go with them. Before we dive deeper into Hollow Earth and everything waking beneath it, leave a like and drop a comment saying Hollow Earth so I know you are here with us. For all previous episodes, see the pinned comment below. The stairwell dropped into darkness like the throat of the world itself. I held a flare in one hand and Abigail's hand in the other as we stepped deeper into the earth. Each footfall echoed in a way that felt wrong, like the sound wasn't bouncing off stone, but slipping into something alive. The air changed first. It grew warm, humid, thick enough that each breath felt heavier. It reminded me of a summer storm before the sky breaks open. Then the gravity shifted. At first, I thought I was losing my footing, but the pull on my legs changed. Bo stumbled behind us and caught himself with one massive arm against the wall. Even the ancient Sasquatch, towering at the rear, paused and pressed a hand to the carved stone. Gravity, Samuel muttered. We are crossing layers. Feels like it is trying to pull me forward, Abigail whispered, stepping closer to me. I tightened my grip. Stay close. The Guardian unit moved steadily ahead, weapons raised but silent. Mara Redfeather led them with a slow, controlled pace. Even she looked uneasy, glancing back now and then at the glowing runes that pulsed along the walls. They lit up in waves, as if reacting to us, or reacting to me. I kept catching the Ancient One looking at me whenever the runes brightened. His eyes followed every movement I made. Bo's father stared too, and Bo walked almost shoulder to shoulder with me, as if guarding me. I didn't understand any of it, but I felt the weight of something old pressing against my chest. The whispers came next. At first I thought it was wind, a soft hiss from deeper below. But it wasn't wind. The sound rose and fell in patterns, like distant voices echoing through a massive cavern. I couldn't make out any words, but the tone felt familiar. Angry, urgent. Samuel stopped and tilted his head, but Abigail clutched my arm as the sound slid across the stone. You hearing that? I whispered. Yeah, she breathed. And I do not like it. We kept walking, deeper and deeper, until the air shifted again. The floor sloped downward into a massive archway, carved with symbols of creatures I didn't recognize. Some looked like Sasquatch, others like Dogman, some like twisted hybrids of things that had no right to exist. One carving showed a massive battle, figures with spears raised, beasts falling around them. Another showed something that looked like a human with glowing patterns across its skin. My stomach knotted. The face carved into the stone looked nearly identical to mine. I didn't tell Abigail. We stepped through the archway. Light flooded the tunnel, but it wasn't sunlight. It was a bluish glow that radiated from the plants growing around us. Towering mushrooms as tall as houses. Vines that shimmered like veins filled with light. Trees with wide, curling leaves that glowed white along their edges. Everything pulsed with slow, calming movement, like breathing. Hollow Earth. The real Hollow Earth. We walked out onto a massive ledge overlooking a valley. Waterfalls cascaded from impossibly high cliffs, falling into lakes that glowed with a faint, shimmering blue. Strange birds circled overhead, wings translucent like stained glass. Huge shapes moved in the distance among the glowing trees. Creatures so big, their silhouettes looked like walking mountains. Mara froze, whispering, "This place should not exist." Tohi took a step forward silently, raising his head as if smelling the air. His wolfskin cloak stirred, catching faint motes of glowing dust. Samuel crouched to touch a glowing leaf. This is older than any story we kept. Older than the tribes. Older than the protectors. I took a step forward, but something moved far below. A shadow. It darted across the valley floor with impossible speed. The hybrid. Even from this height, its outline was unmistakable. Too thin, too fast, too wrong. It stopped at the base of a glowing tree, lifted its head, and looked straight up at us. Right at me. My heart slammed in my chest. Abigail grabbed my arm tighter. Bo growled low in his throat, the sound rumbling through the stone beneath our feet. The ancient Sasquatch stepped forward, towering over us all, his posture rigid, protective. The hybrid didn't move. It didn't attack. It just stared. Then it slipped into the glowing undergrowth and vanished like smoke. "Why is it not attacking us?" I asked Samuel. "It is waiting," Samuel said quietly. "It followed you for a reason." I swallowed hard. "Followed me?" Mara stepped closer, face tense. "Clay, it is hunting you." Bo growled again, louder this time. His father placed a massive hand on Bo's shoulder, steadying him. Both of them watched the forest below, like they expected something to come charging our way. We moved down the path, carved into the cliffside, following the Guardian unit's lead. The deeper we went into the valley, the larger everything became. The plants, the mountains, even the air felt different, like it carried weight or meaning we weren't supposed to understand. At the base of the cliff, we followed a glowing stream that wound through enormous trees. Their trunks were so wide that entire houses could have been carved into them. Bo brushed his hand across a moss-covered root, and the moss brightened under his touch. Then, something massive rustled overhead. I froze. Everyone looked up. High in the branches, something perched. Not the hybrid. Something else. Its eyes glowed gold, not red, and its body was covered in thick, braided fur. It looked like a Sasquatch, but older, larger, and painted with glowing white markings. It climbed down slowly, its movements precise and controlled. When it reached the ground, it stood as tall as a small tree, chest broad, face scarred. An elder, a true elder of the inner world. Bo and his father immediately bowed their heads. Even the ancient Sasquatch behind us stepped forward reverently. Toei lowered to one knee. Samuel pressed a hand over his heart. I didn't bow. I just stared. The elder walked toward me, its heavy steps shaking the ground. It circled once, sniffing the air. Then it placed one giant hand on my chest. The glowing patterns on its body pulsed brighter. My blood felt like it turned warm in my veins. Everyone stared as the elder leaned in, examining me like it recognized something hidden inside me. "What is it doing?" Abigail whispered. Samuel shook his head. "I do not know." The elder stepped back, stared into my eyes, and then pointed one massive finger toward the heart of the valley, towards something glowing deep within the trees. A destination. A warning. Before anyone could speak, an inhuman screech echoed across the glowing forest. The hybrid. It was closer now. Too close. And it wasn't alone. The elder turned sharply, baring its teeth. Bo and his father moved in front of us. The ancient Sasquatch let out a rumbling roar that made the entire forest tremble. The hybrid screamed again, the sound splitting the glowing air, and then something answered it from deeper below. Something far bigger. Something ancient. Something waking up. The sound that answered the hybrid's screech rolled through the glowing forest like thunder. It was deeper, older, powerful enough that my chest vibrated with it. Even the ground seemed to shudder. The glowing leaves trembled overhead, and the massive elder Sasquatch beside us lifted its head, listening with an expression I'd never seen on any creature that size. Fear, not panic, not terror. A wary, ancient respect. Toei moved before anyone else. He slipped into the trees like a wraith, bow already drawn, eyes scanning the shadows. Abigail pressed herself closer to my side, her grip tightening on her rifle. Bo and his father formed a wall in front of us, their bodies tense, hair bristling. The ancient Sasquatch positioned itself near Samuel, towering over all of us like a living fortress. Samuel whispered, "Whatever made that sound is older than the tribes. Older than the protectors. It is something from before the first balance was broken." Mara raised a hand to quiet her team. Eyes open. No one fires unless I give the order. The forest around us shifted. The glowing plants dimmed, as if shrinking away from something unseen. The waterfalls in the distance echoed differently, their sound warped. Something enormous was moving through the valley, breaking branches the size of trucks, leaving a wake of distant tremors in its path. But it was not the only thing moving. The hybrid reappeared first, creeping along the upper branches. Its movements were jittery, frantic. It was not stalking this time. It was running, fleeing. Then it stopped, crouched low, and its glowing red eyes locked on me. It let out a low growl that made Abigail hiss under her breath. "Clay, it is watching you again." "I know," I whispered. Bo roared at the hybrid, shaking the tree we stood under. The hybrid answered back with a hiss, then vanished in a blur, darting across the glowing vines and disappearing deeper into the trees. "It is retreating toward whatever is waking up," Samuel murmured. "Or toward whatever controls it," Mara said. We kept walking, guided by the elder who had held Clay earlier, but now its pace quickened. It kept glancing toward the source of the answering roar, its fur bristling. We moved through a clearing where the plants grew taller than houses. Their glowing fronds swayed without wind, bending away from us. Something rustled in the tallest foliage. Samuel raised his hand, signaling us to stop. A massive shadow passed overhead. We all ducked. Some kind of winged creature, the size of a car, glided over us, silently. Its wings glowed faintly, veins pulsing with blue light. Abigail stared, with her mouth slightly open. What in God's name was that? "Old blood," Samuel whispered. "Something the surface has forgotten." Bo's father sniffed the air, then let out a warning grunt. The elder responded instantly, grabbing a massive tree root and ripping it from the ground as if it were string. It positioned itself in front of us like a shield. The ground trembled again, harder this time. Cracks formed in the glowing soil. A low moan echoed from below, rising into a bellow that nearly knocked me to my knees. It reminded me of stone grinding against stone, but alive, breathing. Then the corrupted came. They erupted from the trees like a dark wave. Dogman, smaller than the one Bo killed long ago, but still towering over men, rushed forward on all fours. Their fur was slick with an oily darkness, their eyes burning with feverish rage. Behind them came two corrupted Sasquatch, their fur streaked with black rot, jaws unhinged and dripping with something like tar. "Positions," Mara shouted. Tohi appeared above us in the branches, arrow already flying. It speared through the throat of the first Dogman, dropping it instantly. Bo roared and charged in, slamming into one of the corrupted Sasquatch. The impact shook the ground. Bo's father followed, tackling the other corrupted Sasquatch and driving it into a glowing root that burst with light. Abigail took aim, steady and confident. Her shot ripped through the skull of a Dogman, dropping it clean. Samuel fired next, his round slamming into the corrupted Sasquatch's knee, staggering it long enough for Bo to crush its skull with one massive fist. The elder moved with terrifying grace. It swung the massive root like a weapon, sweeping two Dogmen off their feet in one hit. Their bodies snapped against a boulder with sickening cracks. But the roar came again. Closer. Angrier. The entire forest shook as a colossal shape approached. Trees leaned away as if they feared what was coming. "Something is breaking through," Samuel yelled. "Get ready." The hybrid burst out of the glowing brush, not attacking, but leaping past us, scrambling up a cliff face like a desperate animal. It shrieked toward the oncoming presence, then scampered higher, claws ripping into stone. Then the ground split open. A towering figure rose from the earth itself, covered in stone plates and glowing cracks that pulsed like magma. It stood well over 20 feet tall. Its eyes burned white, and its mouth opened into a cavernous maw that bellowed smoke and heat. A stone warden, one of Hollow Earth's ancient guardians, corrupted and broken. The elder roared at it, challenging it. The creature turned, lumbering toward us, its heavy steps sending tremors through the entire valley. "Clay!" Abigail yelled. "It is looking at you." It was. I felt my blood warm again, almost pull forward, like the thing recognized me. Bo ran in first, slamming into the creature's knee. The impact barely slowed it. The elder hurled the massive root like a spear, driving it into the creature's shoulder. It roared and swung an arm the size of a tree trunk. The elder dodged, but just barely. Toby fired an arrow into one of the glowing cracks. Creature screamed, light pouring out of the wound like liquid fire. "Keep it off, Clay," Mara shouted. Samuel grabbed my arm and pulled me back. "This is drawn to your blood. Stay behind us." "I am not hiding," I snapped, but Abigail held me too. "Clay, do not be stupid," she said. "If it touches you, I do not know what happens." Creature swung again, this time catching Bo's father and sending him flying across the clearing. Bo screamed and charged, hitting the creature so hard it stumbled. The corrupted roared again, echoing through the valley. The hybrid shrieked from above, answering. Then all at once, the forest went silent. The stone warden's molten eyes turned away from me. It looked toward the glowing heart of the valley. Something else was waking. Something worse. The elder grabbed my shoulder and pointed. Not in warning. In urgency. We had to reach the heart of the valley, otherwise known as the Heartstone. Now, the elder's grip tightened on my shoulder, firm and urgent. It pointed again toward the glowing center of the valley, the place Bo and his father had stared at earlier, like they sensed something deeper calling them. The stone warden roared behind us, shaking the ground so violently that dust fell from the massive glowing trees overhead. Abigail pulled me closer, her voice sharp with fear. "Clay, we need to move." Mara echoed her. "Guardian unit, fall back, stay tight, protect Clay at all costs." Bo let out a furious roar as the stone warden swung again, but this time the elder intercepted, ripping a massive glowing root from the earth and slamming it into the creature's jaw. Light sprayed across the clearing like molten sparks. Bo's father charged in beside him, striking the towering creature with every ounce of strength he had. Tohi's arrows rained from above, each one aimed for the glowing cracks in the stone warden's body. Every shot made the giant stagger, but nothing slowed it enough. "We cannot keep this up," Samuel warned. "Move," Mara said. "All of you, get Clay to the Heartstone, now." We pushed forward across a ridge of glowing rocks that looked almost like ancient steps. The forest's glow shifted as we ran, lighting our path downward in soft waves that felt more like guiding hands than coincidence. Bo ran ahead, clearing the way with heavy strikes, ripping through corrupted roots and shattered stone. The hybrid watched us from above, leaping from branch to branch, never attacking, always keeping its red eyes locked on me. Every time I looked back, it was there, crouched in the glowing leaves, trembling with emotion I couldn't understand. Hate, anger, pain, something deeper, something personal. We reached a clearing where the trees bent inward, forming an arch of light. The heartstone stood at its center, a massive slab of dark crystal carved with spiraling patterns that pulsed with the same warm glow that kept reacting to my blood. The air around it buzzed, almost humming. Abigail exhaled sharply. "Clay, that thing is reacting to you." "I know." Samuel stared wide-eyed. "That stone should be inert. It has been dormant for centuries. No living creature should be able to wake it." I felt strange, warm, pulled, like something inside the stone called to something inside me. I took a slow step forward, but Mara blocked me with an arm. "Not yet," she said. "We need to be sure." Behind us, the ground exploded. The stone warden tore through the trees, molten cracks burning brighter as it forced its way toward us. Bo and his father fought to slow it down, while the elder threw its full weight into the battle. The forest shook with each blow, till he dropped from a tree beside me, landing silently. He placed a hand on my chest, right over the wound left from our earlier battle. Then he looked into my eyes and nodded once, almost solemnly, before moving to protect Abigail. The hybrid screeched from the cliff above. Then it jumped, straight toward me. I raised my rifle, but it was too fast. Bo leapt at it, mid-fall, tackling it away from me and slamming it into the ground. They rolled across the glowing roots in a violent tangle of claws and teeth. The hybrid latched onto Bo's arm, ripping into him. Bo roared and grabbed the hybrid's face, slamming it into the dirt so hard the ground cracked. Bo's father tried to join the fight, but the stone warden grabbed him by the back and hurled him across the clearing. The elder howled in fury and smashed its glowing root into the giant's knee, dropping it to one side. Mara yelled over the chaos, "Clay, now. Go to the stone." Abigail grabbed my hand. "I am right here. Go." I stepped toward the heartstone. The moment my boot touched the glowing ground around it, the stone's patterns brightened. The warm pull in my blood grew stronger, almost magnetic. Abigail gasped as she watched the glow intensify around me. "Clay," Samuel said quietly, "your blood is calling it." Then something slammed into me from behind. The hybrid. It hit me so hard I crashed into the heartstone. Pain exploded across my ribs, and I felt blood rise into my mouth. The hybrid pinned me down, screaming in my face, its eyes wild, shaking like it was torn between killing me and waiting for something else to happen. Bo tore the hybrid off me, throwing it across the clearing, but my blood, dripping from my arm, splattered across the heartstone. The ground froze. The glowing air stilled. The entire valley went silent. The heartstone spirals ignited with blinding white light. Everyone, even the corrupted creatures, stopped fighting. The ancient elder stepped forward, eyes wide with awe. Samuel whispered, "Clay, this is impossible. You are waking the heart of the world." The light pulled me inward. My vision blurred as the stone responded to my blood like a key turning in a lock. The ground shook under us, rumbling in a deep, ancient rhythm. Abigail screamed my name, running toward me, but Mara grabbed her arm. The stone warden, even in its corrupted fury, turned toward the heartstone and let out a bellow of fear. Bo and his father staggered away from the glow, shielding their eyes. Tohi dropped to one knee, Bo lowered. Then the earth cracked open. A ring of glowing symbols ignited around the heartstone. The stone split with a sound, like a mountain tearing in half. Light poured upward, forming a column that reached the cavern roof. A doorway emerged in the light. A doorway down. A gateway into something deeper than hollow earth. The elder Sasquatch stepped toward it, and then turned to me, lowering its massive head as if acknowledging something sacred. No one spoke. No one breathed. The light dimmed just enough for us to see that the doorway did not open into more stone. It opened into sky. A sky that wasn't ours. A sky that glowed gold and green. A sky inside the earth. My legs shook. Abigail grabbed my hand, squeezing hard, tears brimming in her eyes. Mara stood in stunned silence. Even Samuel had dropped to one knee, overwhelmed. The hybrid crawled backward, trembling, staring at the doorway with raw hatred and fear. It let out a sharp hiss, and then fled into the glowing forest, escaping before any of us could stop it. It was terrified. Of me, or of what I had just opened. Samuel finally found his voice. Clay, you are not just part of this war. Your bloodline is tied to the first keepers. You woke the gate to the inner world. Only a descendant of the first protector could do this. I stared into the glowing doorway, my heart pounding. I did not even know any of this existed, I whispered. Abigail squeezed my hand again. Clay, whatever is in there, you are not going alone. Behind us, the battles fell quiet. Bo, his father, and the elder gathered at my side. So he stood beside Samuel. Mara's guardian unit lined up with weapons ready. We all stepped toward the doorway as one. The ground rumbled again. Something massive, breathing and ancient, stirred far below. And with a final burst of golden light, the gateway waited for our descent into the true heart of the world. The Heartstone has awakened. The doorway is open, and whatever waits beneath that glowing sky is older than every tribe, every protector, and every monster they have fought so far. Clay's bloodline is no longer a mystery, and Bo is marching beside him into a world no human was meant to see. If you want the next chapter, make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. More is coming.